Okay, everybody. This is my last video about my trip, and boy, is it a whopper for you. Um, my last 2 days were insane. I'm just going to say that. I think you guys probably know that I had such an amazing trip, and by now you also know that I'm not a big fan of the desert. I recognize there are some things that are beautiful, like big canyons and the beautiful walls, and there are some things that are pretty. Well, I took a different way into Bangor than I did home. I was trying to find the faster route home, and I took I-80. And I don't know if any of you have ever driven I-80 through Wyoming, but also when they cut it down to one lane most of the way, so it's 100 degrees outside and you're driving like this monotony behind these semis, so you're like sandwiched in one lane, and there's nothing, you guys, for many, many, many miles. Not any houses, no gas stations. The one rest stop that was open was closed, which is very bad if you need to use the bathroom, but that is a separate story for later. And there's really nothing. And well, screw it. I'll just tell the bathroom story because it's funny. So any of you who have ever had a drink in your life, too many, and you suddenly really needed to use the bathroom, and for some reason couldn't locate one or couldn't get to one, you know how bad it is when you really have to go. And I kept considering alternatives because I'm sandwiched in and there's nowhere to pull off. Thankfully, I had gotten gas at the last possible stop. So I literally, you guys, the rest area was closed. Then the next place was like another, I don't know, 20 miles. I was like, should I grab a towel? Oh, I have one of those urine pee kits that I take hiking, but I couldn't get out of the car to get it because there was nowhere to pull over. No joke, like nowhere to pull over. So, and if I had done that, I probably would have peed my pants anyway. So I just can't imagine this guy at the gas station when I finally got there. And by the way, there's nothing else in this place that I stopped. Only a gas station in the middle of the desert. So I ran into that place with Diddy. Like I was pulling him along. Like I ran in. And I've never done that. And I came out and he was smiling at me and I'm like, I have a feeling you probably see a lot of people run in here. And he was like, oh yeah, I've seen worse than that. So didn't make me feel so bad. At least I made it. But I'm telling you guys, that hurts when you have to wait much longer than you should. But at least, hey, grass is greener. I didn't go in the car and I had gas. Like my gas tank was full, you guys. That's what I mean. So anyway, desert, desert, desert. Get into Eastern Washington and Idaho. And because of the fires, now I have desert and smog. And I was just like, I need to see some green. This is what happens when you're born and raised in Seattle. You have to see green. You have to have green. So I just want to get home at this point. And it's a 12-hour drive both days, mind you, which is the longest that I had driven. I hadn't driven more than 8 hours any day of my trip. And I tend to keep it more around 6. So get into Eastern Washington. Still smoggy, but that's okay because at least I know where I am. I'm excited to be in Washington. See my first sign that says Seattle. So excited. I'm like, Diddy, we're almost home. So within about 45 minutes of home, now keep in mind I've gone probably 7,000 miles at this point total for my trip to Bangor, Maine and back. And I'm just so excited. And Diddy's like, yeah, we're going to go see Lucy. So anyway, 45 minutes out, I'm getting near the pass, the part I love to see because it's so green and I am so happy. Like my eyes are watering. I'm elated, happy. I know better, you guys. I know better than to feel as good as I did. because my car, that is a hybrid, did a massive lurch. And I got a giant red warning on my screen that said something about my hybrid faltering or something, right? And then I had a check engine light come on that wasn't blinking. I know about that, so it wasn't blinking. And another light. So I called Hyundai, and they're like, you need to get it in. If you can stop driving, stop driving. But hey, my car goes into some kind of weird mode where it recognizes something's happening, so it lets you drive to where you need to drive without damaging the car. I can't remember what it's called, but totally cool. So hey, glass is half full, right? You know what another glass is half full is? That didn't happen when I was in the desert. I would have lost my mind. I'd have been like Chevy Chase in Vacation. Like, I already felt like I was in a Mad Max movie, but with all the trucks around. So anyway, okay, glass is half full, right? I'm just glad it didn't happen out there. I'm only 45 minutes from home, but I make it home. Very happy about that. And everything I read said I should have it towed in. You guys, I know this is a long story, but you're really going to want to hear the whole thing. So I asked the guy on the phone if it's okay if I ride with the tow truck driver, and he's like, sure, it's no problem, totally fine. And it's paid for by State Farm. Well, mostly I had to pay because the Hyundai is more than 10 miles away. But anyways, it's okay. I was happy to do it. And here's why. Because when I called Hyundai, I found out that my car is still under warranty. And for some reason, I've never done this in my entire life, I paid for an extended warranty. Never done it. Never, ever done it. So, yay. So I'm covered, because if it's the main battery, then I'm in big trouble, because that would have been more than I could spend right now. Anyway, so the tow truck driver shows up, and he's already angry. I can just tell this person is angry. So, being who I am, with all the experience that I have, especially in customer experience, I was like, hey, would you like a soda? You know, can I grab you a Coke? He's like, yeah, it's fine. Like, I'm not exaggerating, guys. That's pretty much how he did it. That's fine. So I bring him a Coke, and I'm still being super nice. And I'm starting to get a feeling that he's mad that the guy said that I could get a ride. And I'm like, okay, well, what can I do, right? So I get in the car first. I get in the truck first. And here's where things get really weird. He's got like 92.5 on. You guys all know that's like a normal song channel. I said that weird. A normal channel for music, right? Just like upbeat pop music or whatever, right? 92.5. Okay. He gets in the car, and I am not exaggerating, guys. I'm going to actually put a clip of this music on here, because I put my phone on record just because I figured nobody would believe me. So he turns the station and cranks it up so loud that we can't talk, which is fine. I understand people don't want to talk. And it's gospel music. It's straight, like Lawrence Welk. So it's not good gospel, okay, you guys? I'm sorry if some of you like this, but it's like the kind of gospel that, like, anybody could write, and at the end it's like, oh God, like, you know, and that's how every song ends, right? It's not current. It's not Elvis gospel, which I love, mind you. I have a 3-disc CD thing of Elvis that I absolutely love. I love gospel music, and I love almost every kind of music. So whatever he would have put on, most likely I would have liked. Not this. And he's got it cranked so loud. Like, it reminded me of the Dane Cook, where Dane Cook talks about, like, you know, opening the breakfast cereal in the morning and calling them Christ checks instead of rice checks, and they go, oh, when they open, and they're like singing. Anyway, it was ridiculously loud and particularly terrible music. So I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to make conversation or trying to say anything. So I feel like this guy's just pissed or offended or whatever. Well, I tell him about the Elvis Gospel CD because I'm like, okay, at least he'll know that I like gospel. And he says, this is all I listen to. I listen to classic Christian rock or Christian music, not rock, I'm sorry, classic Christian music. And it's all my wife listens to too. And that was it. And again, no exaggeration, guys. This is really what this guy says to me. And I'm just like, okay. I said, well, that's cool. And then he didn't say anything else. So then we're in the middle lane and he proceeds. Now this is a tow truck, so he's got my car on the bed behind him. He proceeds to tail this guy on I-90 coming out of North Bend for the entire trip from North Bend until we're almost to Factoria. And he starts finally like waving at the guy and like making gestures at the guy. The guy's in the middle lane. So he could have gone around like in the actual passing lane for these many, many miles, but instead he tailed him and he kept slamming the brakes. So I'm like listening to this Christian music, like, I feel like I'm on one of those bad wooden roller coasters that like wrecks your back, right? So I got the gospel music and the brakes, and I'm just like, God, this is like the worst ride I've ever been on. And because now he's yelling at the guy. He actually started yelling at the guy in front of us. And then he finally went around him and passed. And I was like, oh my gosh. Well, when he passed, then he gets back over and almost crashes to the car in front of him because he had to slam his brakes. And I'm like, this is just getting worse and worse and worse. And I'm thinking, okay, either this is one of those guys who thinks he has to tell me that he has a wife because so I don't think anything's going on. But I don't think it was that. I think I figured out what it was. And also not just that he's an introvert, because I get that too. I'm more of an introvert. I understand when people don't want to talk. That's fine. I don't care if he didn't want to talk. But I actually think, because I've had this happen, you guys, is that it's because I drove a hybrid and he had some like Trump stickers and stuff, and I just had a feeling he made an assumption that I was a liberal, like I was like a super liberal or something, which if you know me, you know I'm not. So guys, just the craziest ride I've ever been on. And so I get there and I tell this girl, Lindsay, who I had been talking on the phone with about my car and my trip. I tell her all this and I let her listen to the music, and she was laughing so hard. And all the people there working at the Hyundai were laughing about this because it was just such a ridiculous thing. And then only for the people who know me, I did get a car to take, and it's brand new, so it's really nice. I like new cars. But it's it's like army green. And it's a station wagon. So I've had a really interesting, like 24 hours. I do know people who would have been bent and pissed off at this whole thing, like when it first happened. But, you know, glasses half full, right? It's all going to be taken care of. I probably shouldn't say that because now, actually, I probably should knock on some wood. But because things have just been so weird. But yeah, it's all about how you look at stuff, right? I'm home. I'm so happy to be home. I'm so happy to be with my animals and some damn trees. Like, I only saw a few trees, but if you want to follow this, I really was driving so much that I didn't post on my Dancing with Diddy, at Dancing with Diddy, like I was going to. But I'm going to catch up now. Just post it all just so people who have wanted to follow along can see. But yeah, that's that. I hope you enjoyed my weirdness story.